Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday and good afternoon to our listeners. For those listening live and those joining us on our YouTube channel, I am personally so excited for our November series of industry chats because we are highlighting founder stories. And I actually took this to my LinkedIn network and I asked for votes, I asked for nominations. We had over 15 founders nominated. So I learned a ton about the vendors in our industry. And our team took a vote, and by a landslide, Bob and Jamie Job won our founder series vote. So today I have Bob Graham. He's the founder of Event Temple. Welcome, Bob.
Thanks. Great to be on. Good
I
company to be in with Jamie Job as well. Yeah.
She's amazing. I can't wait to have her on too. And whenever, so you and I were just on the pre-show, and for those listening, I told you, I'm like, we have messaged on LinkedIn, we've emailed, but we've never even had I guess this is a virtual meeting. So I'm super pumped because I'm like, I get to learn about Bob today. So thank you
Wow.
so much for joining. Bob, tell me a little bit about Event Temple before we jump in to all things founder story. Tell us about what you guys do and just a little bit more about who you are.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. And yeah, honored to be in this company with, like I said, with Jamie. So Event Temple is a modern sales and catering software built specifically for hotels. It's designed to be easy to use. That's probably the number one thing we want to be known for and have customers say about us. Great integrations with PMS, other tools they use like Amaze. Great for small hotels. So our smallest hotel has no event space at all and 60 rooms. Our biggest has almost 1,000 rooms and over 1 million square feet. So it scales really well. And then customer focus. So we hire people from the industry training the hotels. So if you're using our sales tools, you would probably get an ex-director of sales from a hotel working to onboard you with the software.
I love that. Yeah, and you guys, like people like Kate, I know have great background, and she and I have become good friends. And I mean, you guys have the best team. I'm like Trevor, all these people. You have done a phenomenal job. So let's just jump right in. I have so many questions for you, but I want to start at the beginning. So, what were you doing before Event Temple that made you have that moment of like, this is a need, I want to go for it? Or was that how it went? Like, tell me how this whole thing came to be.
Sure. So going way back, I play guitar and I love Spanish guitar and classical and I always played in bands and stuff like that. So in university, I wanted a job and instead of getting a regular job in construction like all my friends, I'm like, I want to play music. I'm good at this. No one wanted to talk to me, so I made it myself an agent and booked myself through my own agency and
Brilliant.
ended up growing that business and selling it and always wanted to have good software for it. So after I had that company, I learned how to code. I'm like, I'm gonna teach myself how to code to build the software I always wanted. And that's when I met my business partner Puyan, and he's basically like, Bob, coding takes a really long time to be good at. We should just team up. And so we did, and we built it for all kinds of event professionals at first. So I wasn't from the hotel industry, although I was a bellman and concierge for a while. But other than that, no. And we basically put on Facebook, hey, do we know people that need software? And we had a few hundred clients doing all these random things with it. But one of my friends was a GM of a Hilton. She invited us there, and that was my aha moment because she was like, I just need something that's easy.
Mhm.
It needs to be fast. And then I said, can you show me how you do it today? And it just was so confusing. And it was an older system. And then I said, can you show me how much this costs? And she went to her desk and pulled it out. And I was like, oh my goodness, like we can definitely do better from the whole experience. And that was over 10 years ago. And it's still the same today. Like we wake up in the morning, we're still like, that's the problem to be solved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And how did you go from, we weren't super hotel focused, right? You said you guys had people using this for random things. How is that still a thing? Or have you guys completely turned your focus into hospitality and you don't have the random users now? Like what was the transition there?
Yeah, quite a few years ago before COVID, we had a moment where we were serving a lot of venues. And
Yeah.
we had, I think, over 70% venues and the other 30% hotels. And we just looked at
Wow.
it and we thought, we're going to need to make a hard choice here because venue software is very different than hotel software.
Sure.
And actually, venue is kind of this parent keyword. So we still keep it on our website because it means a lot of things. We still a lot of hotels search for it, but
Mhm. Mhm.
restaurant has their own software, golf course, winery,
Yeah.
museum. And so we chose we need to focus on hotels 100%. And now that we're doing that, we're even like, wow, even within hotels, there's
Submarket.
differences, yeah, between countries, depending on what PMS they use, depending on,
Mhm.
the background, the demographics of the actual person using it. Like there's quite a few details. So going 100% hotel was a tough decision, but the right
Yeah.
decision. Yeah.
I mean, that's inspiring to hear because even from my own perspective, like we're told all the time, oh, you should bring Affixify to, I mean, I could name 10 industries that, and as a founder, you get really like, oh, well, yeah, why aren't we doing that? But it sounds like when you guys really sat down and said, this is our focus, is when you started to see like the real growth.
Yeah, it's wild. I remember when we had 18 hotels, that's when we started thinking about only hotels 18, 1 8,
18.
not many. And then the next, like, I don't know, I looked up, like from my desk, it felt like, and we had over 100. And then I looked up again and we had over 1,000. I was like, okay, like this decision paid off really quick. And
Mm,
I think that the industry, like, is kind of underserved. There's not a modern, easy to use system that's built just for hotels. So we felt like we could really be great at that.
and you are. I mean,
Thank you.
and so your business partner now, I'm curious. So did he jump in and he did all of the development work for you? Because I'm laughing. I'm not a developer, so I definitely was not the technical founder. Like, but it sounds like he jumped in and filled that gap for you.
Yeah, if you search the code and you look for Bob Graham, you'll find my name a few times of stuff I coded in there. But I think it's just left in to make me feel good now because he's really like I got very lucky with my partner because he's kind of the yin to my yang in terms of personality.
I love that.
Great character as just a human being. Like couldn't ask for better partner, which is crazy after a decade to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
a friend, and then just super smart. So people are like, how did you get lucky and find that person? I'm like, I don't know. I just got lucky,
It just
know?
don't expect that for everyone.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
mean that's phenomenal because to go a decade and have the same partner, I think a lot of people don't have that same story. It obviously says a lot too about the both of you and the grit that it takes, because I know the grit that it takes to have a startup. What would you say? So I don't consider you guys even in the realm of startup. I mean, you guys have scaled up now. Like, how many employees are you at? What would you say was the hardest part of going from the beginning days to where you are now? I know there's probably not just one, but
The hardest part.
yeah.
Well,
And
I
we can circle
think,
back, if you
yeah,
think on
yeah.
it.
I think the hardest part of building a company is just staying out of your own way, right?
Mhm.
So the best analogy I heard was, how did you build the brick wall? Well, we just put one brick on at a time.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
truth is that one time me and my partner were having this big discussion, Puyen's his name, and we're, what about this? What about that? And then he said, imagine, Bob, if we just don't worry about any of this stuff, probably everything's going to be fine. And we both burst out laughing because it's so true.
So true.
Most of the stuff we talk and think about is irrelevant, and it's the hard work that everyone does every day adding up
Mhm.
over
Mhm.
time. So, but that's just boring, right? No one wants
Yeah.
to think about that.
Everyone wants the like mountaintop amazing moment, like the miracle moment, but they don't realize that's the little steps that you took to get you there. And like, I mean, the faithfulness that it takes to show up every day when you are creating something that wasn't there before.
Hmm.
And now, I mean, I think about how you've gone from that to like having a team that believes in this, and you're getting people that were in hotels coming over and working for you. What made you kind of want to go that direction? Because I think it's very smart. Is it because of the relevance they have to your clients? Like,
Of hiring hotel people?
yeah, like hiring hoteliers to come over, because I think that's a interesting choice versus I want to hire the best tech salesperson out there, right? Like you took a different approach.
Yeah, I mean that can work as well, but I felt at least for some of those key hires, and I'm still leaning that way. Like I love having that expertise because I don't have that, right?
Yeah.
So my background is in events, entrepreneurship, some coding. Same with my partner. He's very technical, but also has had other companies in the past. And so we feel like we can bring a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And of course, we've learned tons about the industry. Like anything I can get my hands on, I've read and researched. But there's nothing like doing the job for 10
Right.
years, right?
Right.
And you can pay someone who believes in your product, who's used it, who's also done the work. It's just very compelling if you're hearing a sales pitch and they're like, well, I bought it.
Yeah.
Or you're learning from someone, they're like, well, I used to use it at work. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is because it's not just someone that had good training. It's like, no, I literally left what I was doing to come here because I believe in this product so much.
Mm-hmm.
But you've had some twists and turns. So I want to know. I mean, first of all, just your story in general is so inspiring. Like I'm inspired by it. I love seeing you guys' growth through LinkedIn and, talking to your team, but what is going on with the bat? What is like tell me about the personal things in your journey that have probably made it really challenging.
Sure. So I've almost died 3 times, which I think really made a difference in my perspective on business. Cause like I think when you almost die, you do think about life a bit different. You think about like I like that word you used, faith. When you build a business, there's a lot of faith involved. And you could
Right.
say like faith in what? It could be something religious, it could be something just about yourself, right? Or what you believe could be possible even.
Mm.
But when you've almost died a few times, and I'm excited to tell you because they're pretty funny too. Well, one is funny, two are not.
Oh my gosh.
Um, you kind of learn like, oh, what's important to me, right? And what's important to me, I think it does shine through an event temple. So I want to be really great at what I do, and I want to be able to tell the truth and have it actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
Because those other things, they don't matter to you as much. You're like,
Right.
well, I could die, so who cares? So it's about the journey, right? And it's not about the outcome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so then if you're doing things for the journey, you make different decisions. You're like, well, I want to do a good job for people. I want people that have interacted with my product and company to be better for it. I,
Wow.
I want to reward them for taking a chance on me, like whether it's an employee or a partner or a customer or yourself. Like I'd like them to be like, because I knew Bob, life was better. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's kind of my why behind everything. And I think because of that, you end up making these weird decisions that add up. Like, well, let's get hotel people on the team. Let's only work on hotels.
Yeah.
Because you're not chasing the almighty dollar, which is still important. It's just
Mhm.
not the main reason for everything.
Well, you're like, that's so resonates. And you probably don't know this, but you said something to me in a LinkedIn message that I still think about because I loved it so much. Something to the tune of, we are really grateful to be part of Affixify's story because you guys are, partners of ours on the platform. And I mean, I think about that often because you don't usually hear people say that, by the way. Like,
Mm,
you care about being a part of our story. I thought that was like very impactful and something I want to care about being part of other people's story. And it was very selfless. So hearing that maybe these near death experiences, probably change your entire perspective. I mean, it makes so much sense. What were the experiences? Like, I want to know.
sure. So I'll start with the not funny ones. So we have all the time for the funny, good story. So when I was, I think, 25, I got in a really bad car accident and I had to actually pull myself out of this like icy car wreck in a river and was like coughing out glass. And then they got an ambulance to pick me up, right? Like I had to lay on the road for a bit. Ambulance comes and I'm like, what am I out of 10 in terms of serious? And they're like, oh, you're a 10. Like we have to switch ambulances on the way to the hospital. And I was like, how far is the hospital? And they're like 20 minutes. I was like, oh, like I'm gonna
You
die.
were like conscious for this?
Oh yeah, yeah. But when I was in the car wreck, I was like fading in and out, and like my friend tried to get me out and couldn't, and was like,
Yeah.
like really upset. And I was like, fine, get out of the way, I'll get
Do
myself
it.
out. Yeah. And I did. I don't know how. Insert curse words. So that was pretty heavy. And I was in ICU. I don't even know how long, like a long time.
Gosh. Okay.
That's the
Whoa.
not funny one.
But I'm like, okay, even one story, that's insane. And everything, I
Yeah.
mean, you're okay. Everyone else was okay. So,
Hmm.
wow, miracle.
The next not funny story is I had the very next year in November, the same month as my accident, I got diagnosed with cancer. And it was like a non-life threatening cancer that was
Mhm.
just required like surgery, but I had to get in quick. But I go to this doctor like a few years ago to check in, and he like gave me a hug, and he's like, I wasn't allowed to tell you at the time because we don't tell you because once the surgery is done, we assume you're okay because we've taken it out. He's like, but you had this super aggressive kind, and you had a like between a 30 and a 60% chance of dying if it came back. But since it's been 10 years, like, and he asked to hug me, and he was the surgeon.
You're like, and he still remember. You're like, thanks for not telling me. So does
Yeah.
November, the month of November, give you a little PTSD? Or
Surprisingly not. Surprisingly not.
are you okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm like, this is
Okay.
phenomenal. So you're here for a reason. I mean, we know this.
Yeah.
We know
I would
this. Wow.
hope. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if just to play guitar, you know. But but then my funny one was, so my wife and I, we go to this little island off of Vancouver called Galliano Island. If you can ever go, it's like amazing.
Mm.
Just giant fern trees and ocean.
Oh,
It's beautiful. So we booked this long weekend trip, and it was in the spring. We're staying at this little cabin in the middle of the nowhere in the woods. And it's nighttime, so in my like pajama pants, it's summer, about to go to bed, right? She's like, you want to go look at the stars quick? And I'm like, yeah, like let's go do that. It sounds like a great idea. So we go outside, and I'm in these like flimsy pajama pants. There's a reason that matters. I'll tell you in a second. And we're like standing at, she's like, going to lay down and like look. And I'm like, yeah. And then there's a bat circling around. So I'm like, for me, I'm like, mansplaining it to her. I'm like, oh, don't worry, babe. Bats never, explaining the radar and like how they work. And she's like, oh, okay, because she was worried. And then next thing I see, this bat darts down onto me below my waist. So you can guess where. It's a deeply personal place. The one place a man would never want to get bit by a bat. And it hits me there, and it starts shaking around. And it's like big. But I couldn't feel anything, but I could feel a bat. Like I could see the bat wriggling around on my body, right? And I'm wearing pants, but I'm like, okay. And then it flies away. And I'm like, did you see that? And Steph, my wife, is like, yeah, like that bat just attacked you. Like we're laughing.
Oh my gosh.
The next morning I call the field nurse for the island because there's no doctor there.
Right.
I just looked it up and it's like field nurse. So I'm like, hey, this happened. She's like, you need to go home immediately and go to the hospital.
Oh my God.
So I get the first ferry, I go to the hospital. I tell them what happened. I'm like wearing like, people are like, I'm in an emergency. People are like bleeding, holding their eye and their arm. I'm wearing like a flannel shirt. Like, hey, I just had the nicest weekend. Like, and they're like, what happened to you? And I'm like, oh, I told them. And they're like, hey, you need to go to fast track. I went past everybody. What? I get into the, like, it takes hours to get in. I go right in, right? And then there's like, so a bat bit you, all these people surrounding me. And they're like, where did it bite you? Oh my God. And I'm like, well, so then I tell them and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, why does that matter? And they're like, because we have to give you an injection, like in the bite site. So I'm sweating. I'm like, can you please do it somewhere else? They're calling, you know how doctors are calm and they have bedside manner? They're all rushy and they're like, how long has it been since it bit you? We need to hurry. They send a taxi to get the medicine across town. A taxi. When do you do that?
What?
Like the taxi driver brought it. And then the lady is like on the phone, I don't know, calling someone upstairs. And she's like, hey, do I have to inject it in the bat site? They're all negotiating to try to get me off the hook to get this awful,
Terrible.
So then they bring the needles and they're like gigantic, right? And I'm like, is this to make it so I don't get like, I'm so naive. I'm like, is this to make it so I don't, get another, like get rabies in the future? And they're like, sir, this is to save your life. And I was like, oh.
You have been like at 2 out of 3 times not aware that you were. So I didn't realize. I thought it was like preventing rabies, but no. Like if you've been bit, you have
24 hours to get these shots. And if you get rabies, there's basically, it's like 99.9% chance you would die. And in this part of BC, I guess a year earlier, someone did get bitten on the hand and they did die. And they were a 19-year-old guy. So pretty awful. So they're taking it super serious. So they give me these injections. There's 4 of them. And they didn't put it where I was worried. They put it in my upper thigh.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, thank God it's in the thigh. No, it's so painful. My thighs are twitching. Like I can see them moving. My eyes are tearing without trying. And then I'm like, I'm off the hook. And they're like, no, we need you to come in these specific days, these specific times for the next 4 weeks. you know how medical system is, right? Like this is just general healthcare, like nothing fancy. They're
Yeah.
texting me first thing in the morning. They have my number. Like, are you on your way? And I'm walking. They're like, are you walking? How far are you?
They were
It was,
so worried about, oh my gosh.
yeah,
How was
yeah.
your wife this whole time? Like, what was she thinking?
She's laughing. She's like, how is this real? Like, because it just felt, even on the way home, we're like, we have to leave our vacation. Like, this
Oh
is
my
so,
gosh. I'm really glad you thought to call the field nurse. Like,
yes.
what made you decide that was the next step?
The weirdest thing, I had this guy that used to work with me, and like quite a long time ago, and he was bitten by a bat, and he told me his story, and I was like, that's so crazy. And he told me all these details, otherwise I never would have known. But because he told me that story, I'm like, oh, I guess I need to do this.
So this kind of freaks me. I was telling my husband about the series that I'm doing this month, and I said, I'm talking to this guy, Bob, and something happened with him getting bit by a bat. And he said, that is so weird. He was at a conference 2 weeks ago, and two people at his event had also been treated for bat bites. And I was like, that is really weird. That's like three people in a month. I don't think I've ever heard that in my life. So I didn't know bats were like aggressive. Are they? Because you weren't doing anything.
Well, I like to travel, and like a few years ago, we went to Borneo and we do
Oh,
these adventure trips, and we
wow.
saw this bat exodus. And there's like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of bats, and they're huge and they fly all around you. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, what a thing to see. Now I would never go
Never,
there.
never.
Never. You couldn't pay me to go around 10 of those things, but I think they're pretty safe.
Okay.
But if they were to touch you, you should assume it's rabid because they wouldn't
Yeah.
normally do that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've seen like, I have three boys at home. And so this is a tangent, but like we've looked up the pictures of like the biggest bats. I mean, they're huge. They get
Yeah.
scary big. No, I get freaked out with like a bird. Like
Yeah.
we don't need a bat. Okay. So when was this? Tell me again when this bat bite
Oh, I
was.
guess I guess it was probably a few years ago now. It was in September, not November, but yeah, probably 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all of this, you move past that. And now your founder experience has been further shaped, right? Because
Yeah.
it's changed the way. Well, it gives you great stories too at conferences, but sounds like you really use that to reflect and change the way you approach or add to the way you approach your business.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I'm a normal person. Like I get ambitious, I get afraid of competitors, I get annoyed, I get angry, all those things. Of course, I'm just like human, but
Yeah.
I try to bring it back to reminding myself like, hey man, you almost died a few times.
Yeah.
You should consider this bonus time. If you had have died and you got brought
Okay.
back and this was bonus time, would you be using today this way? I think about it a lot. Often I'm like, no, I should simmer, I should relax, I should try to think longer term, maybe I should just enjoy helping this person, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I saw a thing once and it was a video where this guy's holding a piece of string and he was showing how short of that whole string the time on earth really is. And he was saying we treat that time like we have all this time, like the whole string length, but we have this much. And I think of that of like we do kind of get so comfortable in our own day to day and we think we have all the time in the world. And I mean, I'm so guilty of it. Hearing your story, I think it's phenomenal that you're able to apply like some of that thinking. I also just am convinced like you are absolutely here for a purpose and you're living out that purpose. And I think it's phenomenal. So if
Yeah,
you,
thanks.
yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I love what I do, and one of our company core values is happiness here and now. And we encourage people. We're like, if you come to work and you're not happy, that's not immoral to leave Event Temple.
Yeah.
Like we want you to live your life and enjoy it. And if it's here, that's great. And if it's not, that's cool too.
I love that. I think that's the best way for a leader to be is not create. And that's, people talk about family, work is family, but it's okay for people to move on, right? If you were to give advice to somebody listening that is either looking at starting a company or has a big idea, or maybe they're like me, I'm a year and a half into launching my startup, like what would you say is the number one thing to keep in mind?
I think just give it a try. If you believe it's a good idea, just try for a long time. And if it's not working, change something. It doesn't have to be everything. And then just ask yourself, why not you? Right. And
Yeah. Yeah.
eventually it will work.
I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing, Bob. This has been so fun. I am so excited to share this episode with many of our friends. It will be on our YouTube. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Bob, obviously find Event Temple through Affixify. But Bob, for you personally, where's the best place for somebody to stay in touch with you?
I would say LinkedIn. Just send me a DM or comment on my post.
Okay, I love it. Well, Bob, thank you for being my guest. This was amazing. I feel like you have so much more to share. So we will keep the conversation going. And for those watching, again, we will have this on YouTube. Share with a friend. And I can't wait to be back week after next with Miss Jamie Job. We will see you all very soon. Thanks.